Listen, if you sold any crypto this week, you just got played. You fell for what might be the biggest coordinated wealth transfer of our lifetime. And what we're seeing right now? It's not some random market chaos. No, this is a demolition, a meticulously planned one.
Look at this number, $1.68 billion. That's not just a statistic. That's the amount of leverage that was systematically erased from the market. And get this, what the intelligence we're looking at reveals is that wasn't an accident. It wasn't a side effect. It was the whole point.
So you turn on the news, and what do you hear?
Oh, it's just normal market volatility.
Right. But what's really happening? The theory we're breaking down today suggests insiders are running a very specific, calculated plan. And stick with me, because by the end of this, you're going to understand the four-part script they're using to shake you out and basically steal your assets.
All right, so where does a plan like this even start? Well, part one of the script, it begins at the very top. The core of this argument is that the Federal Reserve isn't just sitting on the sidelines, holding rates. No, they're the architects. They are actively engineering this crash. And this brings us to what's being called the Fed trap. You see that 3.50% rate hold? That wasn't about stability. That was a signal. It was a clear signal that they are deliberately choking the system of liquidity. They're making it almost impossible for anyone but the absolute biggest players to operate. Let's be clear, this has zero to do with helping you or me, the average American. It's all about setting the stage for what comes next.
And then there's this, the final piece of the Fed's strategy according to this theory. The nomination of Kevin Warsh by Trump. That's supposedly the checkmate move. See, Warsh is a well-known hardliner. He's completely against the quantitative easing that kind of fueled this whole retail market boom. The argument is, he's being put in place for one reason and one reason only: to absolutely crush retail-driven markets so his buddies on Wall Street can swoop in and buy everything for pennies on the dollar right before the big reset.
Okay, so let's move on to part two, and you'll see how this whole thing builds. Once they've set the stage from the top down, the ground assault begins. And this is a tactical strike, aimed directly at crypto's core infrastructure. We're talking about the banks that are your on-ramp to the market.
Now just look at this timeline. The pattern here, it's undeniable. They're calling it Operation Chokepoint 2.0. We watched it happen all through 2023, right? Silvergate, then SVB, then Signature. But did you hear about what just happened? Metropolitan Capital Bank, another huge crypto-friendly bank, just went under. It was kept really quiet, but trust me, it's the next domino to fall.
And this isn't just random bad luck. It's a playbook, a simple, repeatable one. Step 1, target a crypto-friendly bank. Step 2, squeeze them with intense regulatory pressure behind closed doors. Step 3, announce the failure to spark panic. And Step 4, funnel all those displaced crypto users straight into Wall Street's own approved products, like those big ETFs. It's all about controlling the on-ramps and the off-ramps.
Okay, I'm going to be blunt here. If you're watching this and you're not subscribed to Crypto Global News, you are missing these critical alerts. It's that simple. The algorithm is literally designed to bury this kind of content. Next week, you won't see it. So click subscribe right now to stay on the timeline.
All right, on to part 3. So the financial environment is primed. The on-ramps are being systematically dismantled. Now they launch the market ambush. This is where they get their hands dirty and manipulate the price directly to hunt your stop losses.
Just take a look at the data. Over $1.1 billion flowed out of the ETFs just this week. And who was leading the charge? Institutions like BlackRock. The story they're feeding everyone is that retail investors are panic selling, but the numbers don't lie. That's just not what's happening. The big institutional players, they're the ones smashing the sell button.
So you got to ask yourself a serious question. Do you really think Larry Fink is panic selling? Come on, of course not. This is a classic textbook shakeout. They dump what's essentially paper Bitcoin, the ETFs that just track the price, not the real thing, to crash the market. This triggers massive fear, and then what do? They swoop in and scoop up the real assets, like actual Bitcoin and XRP, for pennies on the dollar from everyone they just scared out of their positions.
Look, these moves happen in the blink of an eye. If you want the earliest intelligence briefings, you need to be in my Telegram. Scan the QR code on the screen or hit the link in the description. The most time-sensitive updates, they always hit there first.
And that brings us to the final piece of the puzzle, part 4, the grand deception. How do they pull off all these financial maneuvers right out in the open? Simple. They use a geopolitical smokescreen. Here's exactly how it works. While your TV is blaring about a government shutdown or explosions in Iran, the real story is playing out in the markets. These massive fear events are the perfect cover. While everyone was distracted by the war headlines, they quietly liquidated 93% of all long traders and just took their coins for cheap.
Recognizing this pattern is absolutely critical. So here's what I want you to do. I'm putting up a community post for this deep dive the second it's live. Head over there and tell me, what other distractions have you personally noticed them use to cover up big market moves? Let's build a database of this together.
So, let's just lay it all out. It's all one script, one playbook. Part 1. The Fed engineers the liquidity crisis. Part 2. Regulators take out the crypto on-ramps. Part 3. Institutions trigger the market crash. And Part 4. The media gives them the cover story. It's a 4-act play, a coordinated attack with just one single goal: to get your assets out of your wallet and into theirs.
And this really is the bottom line. The most crucial takeaway from all this. They're deliberately crashing the old system and just blaming it on volatility. They want you scared. They want you to sell your XRP, your Bitcoin, right now so that they can own the future of finance. The only question is, are you going to let them win?
But that leaves one last massive question. This entire plan, this whole managed collapse, it all hinges on them getting their hands on one specific asset. One asset they have to acquire before the whole system resets. So what is it? Well, in our very next briefing, we're going to expose exactly what that asset is. To see that breakdown, you need to click the video I'm pointing to on the screen right now. I'll see you there.
Stay ahead in the crypto market. Subscribe now for the latest global news and updates.